What are your thoughts on Norman going off?
I think there's some element of truth to what Norman said. I don't put a lot of stock in it because it's the off season. A lot of people say a lot of things in the off season to garner some attention. It's a kind of a dead period in the NFL, so I think probably some of that has to do with it. But the biggest thing I would say about Josh Norman is I don't mind you talking tough and doing all this stuff now, but come the regular season, I don't need any type of foolishness on the field because when you have these outbursts like they had in that infamous game, when he was with the Carolina Panthers, see, it doesn't just affect him. That was selfish between him and Odell Beckham. See, now you're hurting the team. You're hurting me if I'm a teammate. You're hurting the coaches because we only get to play 16 games in a season. It's not baseball or basketball where you have a lot of games to make up if you lose a game. Every game counts. The first game counts as much as the last one. If you commit a silly act that causes a 15-yard penalty, that extends a drive, that a team converts into a touchdown, and then we end up losing the game, there's a lot of ramifications, a lot of implications that could go.
If it becomes about them.
If it comes about them, it's selfish. It's about the team. So, again, like I said, it's the off season. I don't care. It doesn't matter. It's kind of like when guys hold out contractually. Nobody really cares. But when it's time to report for training camp, now it's a totally different story.
Well, for me, I listen. When I watched Josh Norman, he wasn't awful, but it's not like he prevented Odell Beckham Jr. from getting his a little bit. That's number one. Number two, Dez Bryant has been injured for the vast majority of the last couple of seasons. We all know that, and we all know that when Dez is healthy, Dez can get things done. I don't mind Josh Norman saying what he said because he has history with both guys. He's gotten into it with Dez. He's gotten into it with Odell Beckham Jr. So it comes from someplace. And I respect the fact that as one of the higher paid corners in the game, acquired by Washington last offseason, stupidly by the Carolina Panthers, by the way, who were just ill-advised in letting him go. Josh Norman answers the call for the most part. But particularly in the case of Odell Beckham Jr., I mean, Josh Norman is definitely putting himself in a line of fire because you've got Sterling Shepard, you've got Odell Beckham Jr., now you've got Brandon Marshall there with Eli Manning throwing you the football. And so as a result, if Odell comes after him and Eli signs on and Dak Prescott signs on in terms of getting Dez that ball, when he's going up against Josh Norman, you're going to have to back up all the chitter-chatter. I have no doubt that he can to some degree, but these are not scrubs that they're talking about. And when you talk about tough guys, you know how people can misinterpret that kind of stuff because you're taking it beyond the football field. At least sometimes that's the impression that some of these cats give. I think Josh Norman needs to be careful about that, but I don't really see much to get on him about here because he's going to be on the field in a position to back it up or not, and we'll find out when they meet up with one another.
Well, Damien, in spite of your girth, you've missed the big picture. Stephen A., you've also missed the big picture. This is what this is really about. The NFL is like the WWE or the WWF back in the day. Not in the sense that the outcome is predetermined, but in the sense that what gins up interest is not just the athletic competition. It's the smack talking. It's the investment in the characters to see who's going to get the comeuppance. And because the NFL is violent, people are even more interested in seeing the matchups, particularly when it's a corner talking about a wideout, because that corner's job is to hit that wideout. This will be like the WWE, only with a not predetermined outcome. It is smack talk and drama that will be resolved with violence. And to demonstrate the point, you know who's happiest about all this smack talk? The happiest is the network that gets to air the game. Because people, all of us sitting here, right, he's going to be going up against Dez. It's not only in the division, it's not only in the NFC East, but we got Norman against Dez. We got Norman against Odell. Oh, yeah, good. Think about way back in the day, the WWF champion. Remember this, Stephen A., was Bob Backlund. Bob Backlund was champion. They were doing fine, whatever. He was a very technical wrestler. But he wasn't a big smack-talking guy. And then before Hulk Hogan, who exploded the popularity, there was the Iron Sheik versus Sergeant Slaughter. right? You people were invested in it. They were talking smack. There was a guy who was played as the heel. In this case, Josh Norman is the heel. And then there was the hero, in this case, who he's talking about for those home teams, Odell for the Giants and Dez for the Cowboys, going to be the hero up against the heel. It's easy for people to understand, and it will be resolved with violence. There will be blood, and people love it. It works for the WWE. It works for the NFL.
Max, listen. I
Just
want to
call
hear.
him
I want to
Captain
hear.
Obvious.
I want to
Just
hear
call him
Josh
Captain
Norman.
Obvious and get it away with, Damien.
I want to hear Josh Norman. Don't talk to me. Don't give me all this trash talk in May. I could care less about May. Talk to me the week of the game. I want to hear the trash talk the week of the game.
He always
And I don't
does.
think Josh Norman want those problems from Odell Beckham Jr. We've seen a few times Odell Beckham Jr. had him roasted. So I don't know if he really wants those problems. Listen, I understand that NFL is embracing the celebration and trash talk, and I get it. I love it. But all this talking in May, if you're not talking, you're not talking during the regular season, then
One thing, Damien, he did say he acts out. He's a big baby. We did see him propose to the net and do all that drama when he starts to struggle. He does act out. I mean, there is some validity in the statements, let's be honest.
Well, here's the deal. At the end of the day, I appreciate Josh Norman for this sense. It's not like he talks and then gets to hide. He's going to be out on Front Street where he's going to have to back it up, and he's giving us all something to look forward to. He's going to be on the field. You know, I don't want to hear a trainer to I'm helping Max out here because the boxing analogies certainly will assist him. We don't want to hear the trainer talking about what the fighter's going to do. We want to hear from the fighter.
Right.
We want to see who's going to back it up. Josh Norman is putting himself in the line of fire. You could say, Damien, it's in May, but we're going to talk about it in June. We're going to talk about it in July and August, and so on and so forth. This is the way it's going to be.